Okay, what's the objective? So I'm going to share with you what we have already on Academy City. And on Academy City, you all have the ability to log in and get to these application. Let me log in and do the whole things from scratch so you can see the whole process. Okay, how to get to this screen? You just go to Academy City. You log in, and after you log in, you go to my account. In my account, by the way, do go and put your picture in the profile. You know, if you go to the here and you upload your picture, you can see your picture. This next year will perfect the whole things, but you can't do everything in one day. So put your pictures so you can see, and step by step you start learning. This is a really monster. Okay, so we're going to the, again, I got to my account, course management, you are administrator, so you get the same menu. In the courses, you go to the corporate valuation. I'm going to remove that one because we're going to collect data totally different. So that's going to be removed. But don't touch it for now. Click on the little glasses. You get a few of them. Click on the first one. Go to simulation. That's one you already know. But I want every one of you to be expert on that one. Mildred, can I see you? Where's Mildred? Mildred, let me see you. Jeremiah, are you with us? Where's Jeremiah?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, I want all of you to know that, okay? But the one that I'm expecting to be expert, that if somebody has a question one day, it will go and ask her. It's Mildred and Brenda, okay? The two of you, I want you to be expert on this module. You, Daniel, I want you to know behind the scene a lot of the stuff. You have a lot of learning to do, okay? So this is something, I'm going to have a meeting tomorrow, by the way, with two really big investor in options. So that's why I bet where it says S&P 500. See, it says S&P 500. I click on it. Basically, there's more than 500 because some companies has more than one shares. This is what the real money is, the big money. There's about 500 companies. Okay, some of them, you know, Nike is a big company. A, a lot of them, the big guys. Okay, but see the way I organized it. This is a very special screen, and you, Daniel, supposed to be expert how I made it, how I built it. I will go over it. It will take a little time. Okay, starting next week, I think we should a start really going over the code. But what's really important for me now is collecting the data on the companies. Let me explain. If you see, this is a little table with all the company's name. That's what is known as a ticker. Every company has a ticker. It's like kind of a nickname. Okay. You know, the last one was Nike. There was a reason why it's in the end. In a minute, I will explain. Nike is NKE. That's their ticker. I will explain that in a second. But that's the company name. Let's look at the one that are traded today. Let's say the one that I can identify. Fox. You know the company called Fox? They're making all those clothing and all of that stuff. It's a big company. They're making clothing all over the world. It's a big company. Let me add other ones that you might know. Yesterday there were a lot of them that were trading. AIG. AIG is a monster. It's a big insurance company. It's a huge. Okay, it's a huge company. All of those are huge. All of those 500, they are huge companies in America. The biggest companies in America. Okay. Now, each one of them publish financial statements. 4 times a year. Okay, please watch this video even a couple times. This is really accounting, but as I said, we study computer science to specialize on a field. I'm going to lead you in accounting, finance, option trading. Eventually, we'll do it in other fields as well. Okay? Is Patricia with us? Is she around? Is Miriam is with us?
No, doctor.
I think Miriam should join us. Brenda, how is she doing on the financing? Is she paying? Miriam,
Is it Miriam or Laura?
can you check? I want her to pay and I want her to participate, not only for certificate one, it's really good for her career to be part of the accounting. This can give her eventually a better job than she is in now. She will learn a structure of financial statement. It's not a trivial one. They are all publicly traded companies. She's usually not exposed to this kind of knowledge. So I think for Miriam is a very good one. The truth of the matter, Laura should join too, but let her decide, make her own decision. Okay? When she will know what you're doing, then she will jump. But she doesn't really understand it. You will see in 2 or 3 weeks from now, you'll be in a totally different place. And I want to work on a daily basis. You guys are going to work on it on every day. Okay, and we're going to make a schedule. So every day, 1:30, we have a meeting. Unless we have to change if I have a meeting or something like that. But this is important to move fast now. Okay, and now we're dealing with annual information. We're going to deal also with quarterly data. Okay, and this is worth gold. The data itself worth gold. Okay, so let me explain. So we have a list of the biggest 500. I downloaded this from a website online. Moreover, I know that all the companies, you see a date here, 2021, let me make it even bigger. You see on the very top there, it says it's organized by a date. This is today's date, okay? See that? Those companies today going to publish their financial statements. How do I know it? I downloaded it from their website, from a website that knows when those companies going to announce, Fox going to announce their financial statements today. Historically, this is a day, it's a special day, you see up to this company, CF, okay? All of them today going to publish their financial statements. Now, why is it important? For you, it doesn't really mean anything. For me and for my colleagues, we already know this is a very important day for those companies. Why? If you click on the ticker, let's say for the first company, Booking Holding Inc., it's a big company too. If I click on this one, I already have made a screen. You see this screen? It's a very special screen. That means, okay, all of that are already programmed. That's a very special component that Daniel, you must learn this component by heart and know how to utilize it in other places. See how nice it is? I can move it around. I can close it. I can open it again. Or I can click on the second one. See another thing. When I click on the second one, it makes this one blue and would put the name of the ticker right here. You need to learn how to do that. And moreover, I want you to learn how you can even open 2 or 3 screens like that at the same time. So this is JavaScript, by the way. This is not Django. This is why I said Django, we take the best out of Django. We take the best out of JavaScript and we make the best program. See how fast it works. But I don't remember if you were with me in the beginning. This one was opening so slow. Here, I will refresh it again. Used to be a big screen. When I was clicking on the S&P 500, it used to take a long time to open, remember? I don't know if you remember that. It used to be a big screen. It works so fast. I click on this one, see how quick it works. That's very unique to the technique we use with Ajax. Not everybody knows how to do it this way. Okay? And secondly, okay, I'm looking for a specific company. There is a search button. Daniel, all of you, but especially you, Daniel, because you're going to be the chief architect. Brenda, you should know that too. Jeremiah, you should do it too because you're a designer. Is Jeremiah with me?
Yes, doctor.
Jeremiah, you're going to be the only
Yes,
designer, probably that I know of, that will know everything, an expert on design. That makes you as a very valuable designer. Okay, we tried to find somebody like that and we couldn't, honestly. Daniel, you're going to be an architect and you're going to be an architect that knows different fields. Is Michael with us?
no.
I think he has classes in this time, but he should catch up. Michael will be expert in 2-3 years from now, will be expert on electrical engineering. But he will be also a computer scientist. Okay, anyway, I'm writing here, let's say I'm writing Tesla. Oh, I'm in Hebrew. Tesla, TS. You see, it's already kind of, but the beauty here, it does it in JavaScript. It doesn't go to the server. If you go and look at all the books, usually in Django, they use the server. It slowed down the server. It's not a smart way. I already have all the data here. So this one was done totally different way than usually you see in a book. So that's something you learn to learn, Daniel. And by the way, W3 has this trick there. You just have to know where to put what and how to combine stuff together. So say I looking for Tesla, I found Tesla. I click on Tesla. By the way, Tesla was published 2 or 3 days ago. No, but a lot going on with Tesla. You look at this summary page. This is the one that we used to download. Remember, Mildred? Remember when you collected for 2018 the data?
Yes, doctor.
So this is the data in the bottom for all the companies. This is for Tesla. I uploaded the data, put it in the database, and that's very informative to option trader. Somebody want to trade in options. When Tesla, you say next time you're going to publish the financials next year in February 2nd. Now, am I going to buy options of Tesla or not, depend on the information on this screen. But that's a different topic. One day when I will teach you about options, you will know why it's important. I will just mention, it's very important, the last column, D percentage. You see, the D percentage goes, sometimes it's 0.18%, 2%, okay, minus 2%, it means goes the other directions. So if you look at those numbers, you take the absolute numbers for it, of this column, you already report that number right in here in the MAP, that's actual versus the price. It's 1.68. It's not a lot for a company that their prices are about 700. Now it's already 1100, by the way. It's jumped like crazy in the last couple of weeks. If you put your money, if you had $1,000 and you put it 2 weeks ago on Tesla, you had $2,000 now. You could have made $1,000 in 2 weeks. Now that's what I'm explaining to you. This is where the big money is. But you need to know that. How do you know? Why do you think we have a meeting tomorrow? We have a list of companies. We go over them, we analyze them. We decide where to put the money, our investment money. Most of the time we are correct. Sometimes we make mistake, we lose money, so what? but at least we are very educated and we're not just guessing. Okay, I predict the Tesla going to collapse. It's not going to be happening in the next 2 or 3 months, but probably next time, most likely, I'm going to invest in Tesla, the inverse of investing. But I will explain that one day when we study options. It's going to happen, most likely. On the other hand, let's look at the companies going to be traded tomorrow, today. In New York, the trading haven't started yet. By the way, you can click by any column, it's ordering it by that column. See that? That's something you should learn. I will teach you. We'll record it. And eventually, Daniel, this is a very important for our channel. You know, because we want to tell to the world, we are Academy City, a computer science company, and we are a finance company as well. And believe me, there are millions of them out there dying for this knowledge. You finally got to the point to hear about finance. We just started. Am I right, Daniel?
Yes, doctor.
But you came to it equipped with knowledge in computer. Usually finance people, they don't have that knowledge. So most of the stuff you look, type in YouTube, accounting, financial statement analysis. You always see only accountant. Finance people, you will not see computer science. We are the only one. I want to get the XBRL out. After the XBRL out, we'll talk about this stuff. The problem with the SEC. I'm going to write an article probably on that as well, but I want to get a patent before it. I started working with some lawyer in the US to write a patent. It takes time, but we're building up an empire here. It will come there. You know, not many people know how to make a nice from scratch. We're making this one. This is why it works so fast. If you use a React, they have component for a table, but they never will work as fast as it works the way we do it. Because we're doing it from scratch in the right way. See, when I click here, company is sorting it by the company. I can make it even work faster if I want. I might give it to you as an exercise. Make it work faster. You can make it work faster. See, the time now I'm going to the server. How do you know I'm going to the server? It's because I click, you see, it's getting the data from the server. But you should be able to do it because you already have all the data. Don't go to the server. When you click here, reorganize the table based on the same data you already have. Like I did originally. Originally, I used to download a big table, and now I improved it big time. When I click here, I get only a very small table. Okay, it's a process. You never do anything immediately. You spend time and think about it, do it, change it, and then until it becomes to be perfect. Okay. So far, this is a very important component. It's finally got to the way I want it. I can click on the day, and if I want to know which stock going to be tomorrow, I will type 2021-11-04. Here we go. All those stocks going to publish their financial statement tomorrow. That's pretty cool. In the future, I might put buttons here. You click, instead of typing, it will be just faster. Today, tomorrow, next week. And when you click, that's what you get here. It's very simple. You know, you should be able to know how to do it. That's the level I want you to get to. So tomorrow I'll tell you, Daniel, Brenda, Jeremiah, I want you to add nice buttons here. Jeremiah will know what you're going to do. It will get you a nice icon. You guys know how to program it, and it's done, like you did with the merger and acquisition. You're not that far from that level, which is good. And I want you to start making videos. We want to get to a point we make a video every week in Academy City in the channel. We get there. We're very close to it. then people will start knowing about you, and then you have students from all over the world. It will happen. You just have to believe in it. Okay? Okay. But what do I want to go over now? Now it's the key point. We're connecting this one, opening up the history of what happened in that day for this company. By the way, if I click on this one, this is a very important column. So this company, which is going to be traded tomorrow, okay, I'm going to call my colleague, in fact, today and talk about this company. It's a very important one because it has a very big change in the price. That's a very good candidate. That's a very good candidate, but this is going to be only next year. This is going to be, it's already gone. This one, it's history. This one next year. This one, it's going to, no, this one going to be the end of the month, sorry. This one going to be next week, okay? That's 2 weeks from now. All of those are very important companies. Why? When at the day they publish their financials, there's a big change in the price. People get crazy. They don't know what to do. And we know how to utilize that lack of knowledge. So this is very important for Friday. Okay? In fact, for tomorrow. So we have to take an actions today, meaning before 11 o'clock Israel time. No, 10 o'clock Israel time, 11 o'clock Uganda time. We have to make a decision if we're doing something, and whatever we do today, we will know the result of it tomorrow. If we make money or not, we will know tomorrow. Only for 1 day. Sometimes we double our money. Most of the time we are right. This one, I know that we should do something, but we need to talk about it. So we have a club. There's so many people like that in the world. Not all of them have the knowledge that we do in mathematics. And when we learn machine learning, you will see algorithm that I'm going to add to this table that can help you to make decisions automatically. So this is a monster. Okay? Anyway, let's move on. What do I want you to do? This company, okay, let's go back to a company that's going to be traded tomorrow. Today, in fact. Let's look at this company, okay? I'm going to click on the name. I'm clicking on the name this time. And see what's going to happen. He opened that screen. The reason he opened that screen, you already know, Brenda, in order for it to get all the data, you have to click on the admin, this one, and then you can go here and click on it. So let me start from fresh. You start the screen from fresh. That's what I want you to do. You got to here. Stage number 1, you go to the admin. You go to here. And then you go and get the list. You get the list. So I want each one of you to pick up a company. So Brenda, you're going to do the first one. No, you're going to do the second one. I'm going to do with you guys the first one. Okay? Daniel, you're going to do the Pioneer Natural Resources. You're writing it down? Because sometimes it's changing the order.
Yes.
Daniel, you're going to do Pioneer Natural Resources.
Yes, doctor.
You, Brenda, are going to do Electronic
Okay.
Arts Inc. The third one here, Electronic Arts Inc. Mildred, you're going to do the fourth one, Qualcomm Inc. And Jeremiah, can you hear me?
Yes, doctor.
You're going to do the
Yes,
other
doctor.
Corteva Inc. Are you going to be in touch with Michael today?
Yes, doctor. We
Please
can
do.
be in
I want
touch
him to
with
do
you.
the next one, the IR. Ingersoll Rand PLC. What I want from today on, every day you do a company. Okay? Then I will shift you to make 2 a day. And you'll see it gets easier. In the beginning, it's very hard. I'm going to do 1 company with you. Okay? And I'm going to go over the whole process. How do I do that? So let me close all the other screens. So you'll see the way I work, as if I'm starting from scratch. Okay, I have this screen. I have only this one open. Fair enough?
Fair.
Okay. I'm going to, let's start as if I'm just started this page. Stage number 1, I go to the admin, click on this one, go to the S&P 500. Stage number 1. Then I click on the company I'm working on. Each one of you have a company. Which is your company, Jeremiah?
Koteva.
Corteva. If I were you, I would go and read about it a little bit. I'll show you I did something really interesting. Now, I need your advice. Remind me for what, and I will tell you in a minute, okay?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, so I would recommend you read about this company as well, because eventually you want to make a lot of money. And believe me, learning those companies, each one of them, you can make a hell of a lot of money by knowing the company. Okay, so I'm going to go to the first one, Booking Holding. I'm clicking on the name. I don't want to see this. This one come when I click on the ticker. When I click on the name, see what happened. Since I put the check mark here, you already know that I want to download the data for this one, but I haven't done any matching. So I'm going to wait. It's going to the SEC, downloading everything, but I didn't do any matching. It's going to be empty. See, everything is empty. Empty, empty, empty. Everything is empty. Because I didn't download anything. Okay, good. But what am I going to do? Now that I already picked up the first company, see it's become to be blue here, I go to the SEC. That's the next part. That's the most important. That's what I'm going to write a patent on. I'm clicking on the SEC. You already have gone and checked that this company has data already from 2011. We're going to do only up to 2012. But please remember that you always, always start from 2020. Even if you have 2021, you do only 2020. You do not do 2021. You do 2020 as a beginning. I click on it. See what happened. It's going, making a copy of the SEC website. Now, you go on to the third one called financial statements. You see that? You click on it. Mildred, you with us?
Yes, doctor.
I can't see you. Oh, here, now I see you. Daniel. That's a better than I can see you guys. Then I know you're alive. You didn't run away. There's no line at you alive, something like that. Okay? Okay. So you get a list. There are 3 statements you're going to work on. They are not always the same order. They're sometimes mixed. Usually the balance sheet start, consolidated balance sheet. This is one of them that you need. The second one is consolidated statement of operations or consolidated statement of income, okay, or earnings, one of those words. But one is balance sheet, one is income statement. The third one, you need it for less. It's consolidated statement of cash flow. I'm not collecting data from here much yet. I claim I shouldn't, but we might collect data from there as well. But for now, the most important one is balance sheet, operation, and statement of cash flow. Not always in this order. Sometimes the mix, they sometimes put the operation on the top and the balance sheet next. So be aware to that. I usually take the one that if the balance sheet is first, I click on the balance sheet. So what happened now is copying whatever from the SEC, but he added a new column here. If you go to the website, you will see this column doesn't exist. I added it to there. That's a special column. It's really, really a piece of art. Honestly, you will see when people around the world will know that we have something like that, they will all want, I don't want to show it to anybody. So we start and see how smart it works too. When I click on it, what is the first one? Cash and cash equivalent. It's exactly what it is here. You see that? Can you see it? Let me make it bigger. You can see it better. 1 second. Can you see cash and cash equivalent? It's a little
Yeah.
small.
Yes.
When you click, I made it so it will be the same, the first one. See that? So I click on it. So I chose the first one. See why is it smart? The second one is a short-term investment available for sale, debt, blah, blah, blah. It's not marketable security, so I'm going to skip. Account receivable. That's very important. So the first one, I'm not collecting data for that. And you should learn it as you go along, and I will help you if you make mistakes. So I'm jumping to account receivables. If you go to the next one here, please pay attention. Marketable security, this company doesn't have, so I skip on it. The next one is account receivable. Please pay attention that in the list, cash and cash equivalent disappeared because I already have used it. You got it? It's to help you out, so you don't make a mistake choosing it twice. You shouldn't be using the same one twice. So it's removed automatically from the list. So I'm going to use account receivable. That's what it is. It says account receivables. Okay? Next, prepaid expenses. Okay, I'm not going to collect data. Other current asset, although I have an account like that, you can choose it. He's going to ignore it, but you can choose it. Other current assets. But please see how smart it is. You know what is he doing? He's going behind the screen, copy the tag behind the screen and put it in the database. And I'm going to show it to you. Okay? So you know what it does. I'm going to go to the Academy City, but please don't touch it. If you get confused or something, let me know. And that's okay if you make mistake. I'm not expecting you to be able to do it right in the beginning. If we go here, we need to go to a table called match. Don't touch it by yourself. It's good just for you to understand what you're doing. If you go, which company is it? That's BKN, it's Booking. So I'm gonna look for a company called Booking. Control A, Booking, here we go. This is it, I click on it. Look at that, it puts 3 names, 3 lines. Who did it? Here, I'm gonna do another one and then you can understand it more. Going back to here. Next, total current assets. You see that? The next one,
Yeah.
total current assets. I'm gonna click here, choose total current assets. I clicked. Now let's look at the table again. Refresh it. Oh, another row. Did you see that?
Yes.
Interesting. So you have total current assets. And if you look at it, this is really the company bookings. This is their ticker. It's for 2020. And what it did, it went See this one, what did he got this one for? He went behind the screen. Behind the screen, if you go on this component, you do right click and inspect. He went, he write what it's written here. You say it's a US GAAP, it's too small, it's hard to see. It says US GAAP assets current. He went inside, he parsed the whole things, he found that, broke it to two, and put it in the database. That's pretty cool. That's not a trivial exercise, is that right?
Yeah.
Now, this is half of the story, because the second story is going to go to the SEC, to the XBRL, and pull the data from there. He's not pulling the data now. All what you guys doing, it's matching the tag. So the tag, he called total current asset, he called it assets current behind the scene. We want to call it total current assets. So when he's going to pull the data, he needs to know what is the real tag. The real tag is right here. It says assets current. He doesn't know what total current asset is. That's what he knows. That's what the XBRL is. After we have the lecture on XBRL, it will make more sense to you. So how do I know what is he expecting? Here we go. I have a mechanism. How do I collect it? Some other companies might call it totally different name, but I want all of them to be total current assets. That's the beauty of this component. Comparability between companies, although companies call it different names, I will be able to match them. That's the beauty of this mechanism. Okay, let's move on. Property, plant, and equipment. That's something easy for you to grab. There is something called property, plant, and equipment. Almost all of them has that. By the way, how do you know if it works? You go here, refresh. Here we go, another one. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not only that, you also updated the, you see operating lease assets. Now this one, be careful. There's operating list. I didn't talk about it when I taught you accounting, but don't take the one from the current. In fact, it doesn't really distinguish. This is the long term. There's no short term really. So this is a hard balance sheet, by the way. So this is really a long term. How do I know? Because it came after the property, plant, and equipment. Property, plant, and equipment is always long-term assets. So, by the way, see the wisdom. This one already, it removed everything you have chosen. It's not in the list anymore. You see that? That's pretty cool. If it's still there, it means something is not working right. Your internet is corrupted or something. So if I click on operating list, see, it shows me. Intangibles. If I click here, operating will not be there. You see, there's no operating. I cannot choose it again. I shouldn't. Intangibles. Goodwill. You see, intangible is gone. Goodwill. First of all, is not letting you make a mistake to choose the account twice, because an account cannot be twice. Okay? Secondly, it makes the list shorter, so it's easier for you to choose one. It's make life easier. That's why I did it. Okay? So long-term investment, including available for sale. This is a hard one. We don't have a match for it. I don't think I made a match because I'm not interested on that now. Next, other assets list. I do have other assets or other long-term assets, but if you didn't do it and you were wrong, here we go. Other long-term assets. You can put that one. But I will explain that to you in another session that the truth of the matter, I have a way, all the other accounts that we didn't collect, I'll put them as other. So if you didn't choose that one, nothing happened. But it's okay. Over time, you will learn. If you see other, you can choose it in the other. And I will go over it with you after what you did. Tomorrow, I will go over the stuff that you have done for tomorrow. And I will fix your errors. Total asset is easy. There is always total asset. This one you shouldn't make an error. That's very easy. Okay, we're moving to liabilities now. Account payables, we have account payables. Right there, account payable. Okay? Accrued expensive, I don't care. I don't care. Convertible debt, usually it's important, but I'm not collecting. Total current liabilities. This is important to choose. I should have total current liabilities. You see? I'm choosing it. Next, defer income taxes. I will teach you one day. This one is important. Operating lease liabilities goes, this is an asset. You have operating lease here. I will explain in a minute what it means. Operating lease, and this is liability. They go together. Usually if you have one, you will always find the second one. If you don't find the first one, you will not find the other one, and then you just ignore it. And so we have operating lease liabilities. I should have it here. Here we go. I choose it. See, the list is shrinking. It's easier for me to choose. Okay? If I go back to here, you see we'll have a lot of them. See, because we have already chose a lot. That's pretty cool. Okay? Now, so what is operating lease? What is the difference between lease and renting? See, you're renting your home a year by year. Why is it called a year, a rent? Because you're renting it on a very short term, a year, 2 years, it's a short term. Companies, especially big companies, when they're moving their offices, they're not going to move every year. So what they do, many times they buy the whole building, and many times they're renting, but for a long term. They rent for 20 years. When you rent something for many years, you don't call it you're renting, you are leasing. Lease is for a long term. It's like renting for 20 years. That's a lease. You almost bought the building because, 20 years, it's a hell of a lot of time. So the accounting rules saying if you're going to rent for a long term, it's like you're buying the building. Okay? This really belongs to accounting. Okay, I'm just giving you on a very brief meaning of lease. So the accounting says if you're leasing a building, let's say a building lasts for 50 years and you're renting it for 40 years. Many companies leasing for 40 years, believe it or not. It's you like bought the building. Is that right? And when you're leasing, you have an obligation to pay it. So they tell you, we want you to account for it as if you bought the building and you have a liability to pay the rent. So this one is how much rent you're going to pay for the next future. Secondly, you're showing it's in the asset because it's as if it's your building. We're treating it operating lease. This is really your building. It's like you own it. It's almost you own it. You don't really own it, but since you're going to use it for so many years, it looks like you have a building. And many times you will see those numbers are very similar. Operating lease as an asset, it's very similar to the amount here. Here you will see it's usually lower number, but they're very close to each other. Okay? So they go hands in hand. Okay? For now, just remember, operating lease liabilities and the long-term liabilities, and the operating lease is like an asset in the assets, long-term asset section. By the way, they didn't do the division. And in a minute, I will show you how I deal with it when I prepare the data. I have only total current assets. I do not have total long-term assets. See that? They didn't do the summation like I taught you in the first session in accounting. So we need to deal with it, and I will show you how I deal with it. Okay, let's move on. Long-term US, I don't really care. Other long-term liabilities. You can put it here. I probably have some. You have long-term debt. Is this the total? I really don't know. No, it doesn't look like total liabilities. So I will choose total liabilities. This is different. See, this is total liabilities. This one, it doesn't really tell me, is it total long-term debt? It doesn't. So I don't really know. So I don't touch it. Okay? Do only the stuff that you're sure for. Total, you know it's total. This one is not clear. It doesn't say total long-term debt. So I don't really know. And I look at the numbers, they don't add up. You know, the sum of those, it's less than this one. So maybe this is really, I don't know. So I leave it alone. And you see what's going to happen in a minute. Okay, this is liability. Let's go to equity. This one you ignore. Commitments you ignore. Then you come to common stock. Common stock, you choose common, you see it changed color. It didn't change. In fact, it's blue. You will see it when we go to the income statement, common stock. Sometimes you have preferred stock. We don't have preferred stock. But as I go over your balance sheets, whatever you will do for tomorrow, don't worry, I will go over that one by one and you learn every day, you learn something new. Treasury stock, that's a very tricky one. That's a very interesting thing. What happened is, remember in the first session, by the way, Daniel, you should really write a comment to add to the first class that component, treasury stock. Okay? Add to it also issuing preferred stock. Write down and we will do it. Okay? In the first class we had, in that component, the first component, not the one you did, the one I did for accounting. Those are concepts. We'll make another session. How we added to that component more transactions. So treasury stock, it's example. Preferred stock, it's an example. Let's leave preferred stock. When we get there, I will explain it. But what is treasury stock? See, it is a negative number. Parenthesis is negative. What happened, if you remember for the first class in accounting, when a company is issuing stock, the owner give money to the company. And that's the way he gets, he is the owner of the company. He gets stock, common stock. Sometimes the company buy back the stock from the shareholders. And the company cannot just take them and throw them away. They have a name. They're called treasury stock. I repeat it. When the company is buying stock from the owner back, are you with us, Brenda?
Yes, doctor.
When the company buying the stock back, it's called treasury stock. So this is zero. It's really probably 0.00. Common stock, nobody cares. And many times you will see, you will have additional paid capital. You see it says additional paid capital. Additional paid capital, I didn't explain either. So write it down, Daniel. A third element, paid in capital. We'll add it to advanced transactions in component that we did in lecture 1 and 2. Now it's the time to explain those for you at least. When the company issuing common stock, the common stock might even say value 0.000 shilling, which is nothing. It's like zero. But when they're giving it the stock to the owner, they're telling him, hey, you're not going to pay a penny or a fraction of a shilling. We want you to pay 100,000 shilling for a share. That extra above what it's written on the document is called additional capital or additional paid in capital. In another word, let's say the company issuing Brenda, let's say I open a new company and you said, Brenda, you said to me, I want to be the owner of the company. Can you make me part of the owners? I say, yeah, no problem, buy shares. I tell you, okay, buy one share. You get the share, you see it's written on it, 10 cents. You say, okay, do I pay you 10 cents for the share? You say, no. You pay me $100 for the share. Okay, you paid $99.90 extra. Is that right? On whatever it says on the share. Correct? That
Yeah.
extra, it is additional paid in capital. So here it says zero, as if the owner didn't pay anything, but it's not true. That's the actual, how much the owner have paid, the paid in capital. Now, interestingly enough, the company have purchased some of the stock from the owner, and they paid them 22. By the way, this is billions. 22 billion. Hey, they only paid 5 billion, but we paid them back 22 billion. How that can happen? Let's leave it to a different discussion, okay? But that's very interesting. So people that don't know how to read financial statement, they have no idea which company should they buy. How do they know how to analyze if it's a good company or not? Is that a smart thing of the company to behave or not? But let's leave it to another discussion. I don't want to have too much in one day. We'll see that all the time, so I will talk about it next time. But for now, we have common stock. This is what we issue to the owner. That's what written on the document, on the share themselves. This one plus this one together, it's how much they actually paid. This one, if the company buy back some of the shares, that's what the company paid to the owner. But we will go over it several times, so eventually it will make sense. Okay, so let's choose, we have additional paid in capital. It's one of the, here we go. Then we have retained earning. To remind you, retained earning, it's all the profit the company has made and they haven't distributed as a dividend. So the company had made a lot of profit, 23 billion. Okay, that's a hell of a lot of money. So that's retained earning. The reason I want you to make one company a day, so in another month from now, you will be expert on those ones. Okay? You will learn, you will do it several times, eventually you will know it very well. And secondly, Brenda, since I want you to be in charge of all these finance department, hopefully a year from now you will have 10 or 15 people working with you. You should know it by heart and you can help others. This is so valuable knowledge beyond a computer, but the beauty here that you already know a lot about computers and you can program and you can do a lot of things that other people cannot do. I can explain to you this one. I can show you this screen and you don't get scared. You can understand what this one means. Right here, you see retained earning. You just put it in. How does it call it behind the screen? This is the way you know it's in the XBRL. Next week, I wanted to record, but you were moving an office, so we couldn't record that session. But when I teach you the XBRL, then you understand this is the way. He doesn't know what retained earning. He knows this title for this company. That's why we're collecting the data. Otherwise, we don't need to collect the data because that's the only way I can pull the data from the XBRL. Okay, let's move on. Next one, accumulated other comprehensive losses. There's another one, it has to do with the income statement, but I won't get into that either today. We will eventually. This is very important. Total stockholders' equity. Now, be very careful. Okay? I made a special account for that. You see, if you go here, where is it? Anybody see that? Total equity and common shareholders' equity. You know, in this case, it won't make a difference if I choose this one or I choose this one. Okay? It will not make a difference. And I will explain in a minute when we get another company. This company doesn't have subsidiaries, or not really subsidiaries. They don't have companies that have purchased less than 50%. So they don't have non-controlling interest. So it won't make a difference. So it doesn't really matter if you choose a common shareholders equity, pay attention to the title, or you choose total equity would be the same. Won't make a difference. Okay? Let me choose this one just for fun. It won't make a difference. Okay? And I will explain to you the next things that we're going to do. Let's stop here for now, and then we'll continue to the income statement. Why I want to stop now? I tell you why, because I want you to see where is the data. How is the data being pulled? We don't have any data now. Remember? Let's go here. We have no data. Balance sheet is empty. See that? I want to show you how it's being filled up. The truth of the matter, this is the one that will have all the data. And from here, it goes to here, to all those statements. So we filled up the data, but we really only made the matching. We didn't really pull any data. How is the data being pulled? So I'm going to refresh which company we have, BKNG. I can refresh and I show you how you pull the data. Now you're putting the data. You go back to the admin, you click on this one. Every time you click on this one, is going to pull the data, but only for the tag you already collected. So if I didn't collect anything for the income statement, I'm not going to pull anything for the income statement. Does that make sense? Because I only pull data for the balance sheet. I doing it for demonstration purpose. I usually do all of them and then pull the data. So now I go back to here. I can go here and click here. I can even just go directly to here and just type or choose the company. The easiest is just go here and click here. It will put in the input, if you go, you see it put the data for you automatically, and it pulled the data. But it pulled the data only for the balance sheet. See, a lot of data still missing. If you go here, you can tell that a lot of the data of the balance sheet is there. Some of them are missing. Account receivable here is missing. We're going to deal with it. For this year, for 2020, we didn't have marketable security. We just didn't have. It didn't have any inventory. I didn't see account. There, oh, hold a second. Look at that. You see this one? It's a different color. I put it in red. Why? What I did automatically does, it takes the total current assets, and that's what should be the sum of all those. So if you do this one plus this one, you are short. So it takes 12,000, whatever, subtract those two, whatever left, it will fill it up automatically for you. Got it, Daniel? See, this one supposed to be the sum, 12,206, supposed to be the sum of all of those. But since the sum of those two, it's lower than 12,200, he add a difference right here. So he does it for each one of them. If you look here, it's 5,600. We have only cash and cash equivalent. It will take the difference and put it here. But we're going to fix up this column, this row in a second. Okay? Because there must be data. And the reason this has happened because maybe the company have changed the tag in 2018. And that's why it doesn't know how to pull the data. So we're going to deal with it in a minute. Let's move on. Look at the other data. Look, beautiful. Same things about operating lease. You see, 2018, probably some accounting changes have happened in this company. All the rest you see, all the places you see in red, I fill it up automatically by knowing accounting. Okay, again, long-term debt, operating lease also here is missing. The rest, common stock, it says zero, but I don't really care. It was zero, so that's fine. Okay, zero is not like empty. It means it does actually pull zero. Zero means zero. All the rest is beautiful. Other equity account, you see we have some negative numbers because it doesn't match. So it's probably something is missing. Okay, we'll get to that and we explore it. Common shareholders equity. Okay, you got that one. And then you see total equity. Hey, how did he know how to fill it up? I told you it doesn't really make a difference. By the way, those numbers are the same. Oh, this year is a little different. We'll take a look at it in a minute. We'll handle it. This one. But how does he know? Because this one, the shareholders plus this one equal to total equity. And I made a formula in JavaScript, so you always check if there is a difference between those two, you would fill it up here. Okay, got it? You always know how much this one's supposed to be. And I will go over it, don't worry. But let's, before we get there, see, all the income statement is empty because we didn't collect any data. But I want, before I continue even to the income statement, I want to handle these account receivable. You see, something is strange. It should be there. Companies like that always have account receivable. It's probably the data have changed, the accounting have changed. So what are we going to do? I'm going to go back to the SEC. Now, I tell you what I many times do. You do the way it's easy for you. I open another screen because I don't want to go back and forth. You can open as many screens as you want. Right? You know, I can leave it this way. I go back to this one. I go to the S&P 500. I have another screen, same things. I have this one here. I click on it. By the way, when you click on it now, without the admin, you walk extremely fast. Let me do it again. See that? It walks extremely fast if I don't click on the admin here. Why? Because we have the data on our computer. So if I don't click that and click here, it opens very fast. Because they already take it from us. It's already on our computer. It's not on the SEC. Only if I want to pull it up from the SEC, I click here first. So if I don't click it here, it will bring it from our computer. And we already downloaded the data. You already downloaded. So when I click here, it immediately opened that screen. Now, okay, I go to the SEC. I go to 2018, because 2018, this is what we have a problem. I want to check what this problem is. So I'm going to here, and it doesn't matter really which screen I'm going for. That's the beauty. Go back to the balance sheet. Okay, look, cash and cash equivalent is there, but account receivable should have appeared here, but it doesn't appear. Probably they changed the accounting. And let me demonstrate it for you. Let me click here and choose account receivable. I chose it. Let's go to the database now. Let's refresh. By the way, you see account receivable here? But there must be another account receivable in 2020. So let me go to 2020 and look if we have account receivable as well. Account receivable, anybody say account receivable? It should be in the very beginning. Here we go. See, in 2020, this is the way they call it. By the way, if it's a capital letter or small letter, it's important. If you have a space, it's important. It's like different. Look at the way they call it in 2020 and look at the way it called it in 2018. Hey, it looks the same to me. Let me check it. Let me copy it. It might be a comma or something. It will make a difference. Let's try it. Let's see what the difference. Control V. And let's look at that, how it is in 2018. Because it didn't appear there. It looks to me the same. That would be really interesting. It looks totally the same. So what's the problem? I have no idea. Doesn't it, Daniel? Am I missing something?
The same.
Look just the same.
I see they are the same.
Very strange. Let's see if it will pull the data. I have no idea. Maybe there is a space in the end. I don't know. Maybe there is a space in the end. No, sorry. I misled you. This is the way I call it. This is the way I call it. This is the tag itself. Okay, this is the way he's calling it. So this is in 2020. This is the way I call it. This is my name. Okay. The same one for 2020, that's for 22. Let's go to account receivable. Here we go. How does it call it in the other year? Look, let's see if it's the same. This is the way he calls it. It's different. Got it?
Yeah.
The beauty, what we're trying to do is for 2018, when we pull the data for 2018, we're going to use this name to pull the data. And when we're going and pull the data for 2020, we're going to use this one because we know this is what he uses for that year. If I don't have that knowledge, I won't know how to pull the data from the XBRL. That's what we're collecting for every year. Now, look at that. I'm going to use the pulling. I'm going to pull the data. Refresh. For this one, and then we'll continue just for your instruction. I'm going to click here. And now it's going to get the data from the SEC because I marked the admin. I'm clicking and I have to wait a little bit. It takes him a few seconds. It takes some time. That's why after we're downloading the data, we keep it on our computer. Oh, here we go. Let's look at the data now. Oh, beautiful. You see, account receivable. We got the whole things. But by the way, but we only put for 2018. What about the 2017? How did he know how to pull the data for 2017? That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I made it to work. I made a function to take the previous year. Try to find out, 2017, try to find out to pull data using the tag of 2018. If it is the same, it will pull the data. So it is the same. The same thing for 2016. Try to find out if the tag of 2017 is the same. And it goes back. Apparently, all those one up to 2018 is the same tag. And 2019 and 2020, it's a different tag. How would you know? Brenda, can you see how valuable it could be for a company that analyzing companies and doing investment? How would they know? You know, this table is extremely valuable table. I'm going to write an article just to publish Academy City. Everything that I will publish from now on will be under the name of Academy City. You know, the fact that 2018 is a change, this is one of 500 companies, the biggest company in America. It tells you there is a problem with the XBRL. This shouldn't happen, especially not account receivable. The company shouldn't have changed the title. And that means that the policy of the XBRL, the SEC, is not solid enough. And people love this. People don't know how to collect this information to report on it. So if you know how to download the data and report, how many companies changing tags every year? And we're going to make a nice chart of it and show it that the SEC should be more strict on allowing companies to change because it's destroying comparability. Okay, and an agency like the SEC would like to be consistent. By the way, it might sound to you a dream, but 10 years ago, we tried to apply here in Israel the XBRL. And somebody approached me because, you know, I'm expert on it. And I said, no way I'm going to get to this project. Today, if they approach me, I will take it. But I will be very cautious and make a lot of conditions. Don't be surprised if in the next 10 years, somebody in Uganda will approach you. If you learn enough and they want to implement it in Uganda, and they will eventually, you know, it just takes a question of time. Eventually, everything will come to Uganda. Question if it's going to be next year, 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years. But it will come, like everything's. This is a factor that they're using it around the whole world. In Europe, they use a IFRS. In the US, they're using the GAAP. But the idea is the same. And if you see the way I collect the data, when I collect the data, I made another field. It's a US GAAP. If I collect data for a company in Europe, it will say IFRS. But the same mechanism will work for both of them. I already thought about it before when I designed it. And if you had in Uganda accounting rules, you can say UG GAAP. Doesn't make a difference. Got it? So anyway, this is extremely valuable information. And in a second, I'm going to show you one more thing. So we're done with part of that. Let's see which other data we're missing. I just did the account receivable and I want you to see that, okay? But the truth of the matter, there were more things missing. Let's look at the leasing, operating leasing. So let's go back to here. And I will go to the, that's why I used two of them. Okay, I can apply here, download the data from the other one, it doesn't matter. That's the beauty of this design and using the internet. So I'm going to see operating lease if there is any operating goodwill. There weren't, really, believe it or not. So there is no operating lease, that's okay. There isn't. Good, so let's move on. What else? So there's no operating lease, no surprise, there is no liability, which makes sense. I move down. There's no preferred stock. I didn't see any preferred stock, that's okay. And the beauty, you see how it's filling up other data for us. Other equity accounts. We can understand it now if you want. This really could make a lot of sense. Let's see, okay? Common stock. Common stock, we have 0. Treasury stock, this should be negative. That's the problem. Okay, I need to fix my equation. Okay? See, this one is pulling the data is positive. All the stuff is pulling from the XBRL. Not always really, okay? Here is saying explicitly, everything should be positive, unless it really isn't. So this one I need to subtract. Daniel, why don't you send me an email? I need to fix up this line to be as a negative, treasury stock. That's why this number, I think it's almost, this is exactly twice as much as this one. You see that? See, if this one is a negative, there will be 0 here. The whole thing will disappear. Okay? Good. We're done with the balance sheet, which is beautiful. Now move to the income statement. Let's go back to the income statement. Going back to here, and here I go to the operation. It's very easy, okay? It's extremely easy because, you know, this one, be careful. It's really tricky. Those companies are huge. You have no idea how big. By the way, this is 10 billions, not millions, billions dollar. This is like the country of Uganda, honestly, this company. It's very big companies, all of those. So when you see revenue, they're breaking it to pieces. Merchant revenue, agency revenues, etc. Let's see which industry they are. They are transportation. What is it? They are transportation services. They have trucks, trains, ton of those kind of things. It's a huge company. Okay? By the way, I will talk about this SIC code in some other time. In a second. In fact, I'm going to talk about it shortly. That SIC code belongs to another SIC code, to a main one, and I will talk about that one some other time, not today. So I'm going back to the SEC right here and start collecting data. So I'm not going to collect those, I'm going to collect total revenue. So that's going to be revenue. It's the total because it's the sum of all those ones. That's the one I'm interested in. The next one, cost of revenue. So here we go, I should have cost of revenue. See how nice it is? Let's go back to the database. You see, it's continue collecting data for me. See that? It's collecting. It's pretty cool. Okay, it's matching everything that I need. Okay, next, gross profit. I have also gross profit. Here it is. Let's move on. You see, I also try to organize it. Performance marketing, brand marketing, sales and other expenses. See, usually you collect sales and administrative, general and administrative. Unfortunately, I need to really improve this screen to, this one has sales and others. So this one, it's easy. You have a category called sales and marketing. Many times they don't split it. So general and administrative, you do have a category like that. The rest, just leave it alone. I don't need that data for now. Okay? I don't add them. Okay? I will talk about it. Maybe I will change my mind in the future. But for now, we don't really care. We have depreciation and amortization. You should have depreciation here somewhere. Here we go. Okay? Let's move on. Total operating expenses. So you have total operating expenses. Total operating expenses. Anybody sees that? Operating expenses. I should really call it total. I should really change the title. Okay? I will do it in a minute. Remind me. Okay, by the way, how would you do that? Anybody know? The beauty here, that it doesn't matter what it is now. You can change it anytime and it doesn't affect any coding. So if I go to the accounts and I go to the income, which is 20 something, revenue, cost of revenue, gross profit, sales and marketing, operating expense. You see that? I can go here and I can change the name total. And it doesn't really care because it cares only about the number. I can always change the title and nothing would happen. And I will prove it to you. Okay, I will prove it to you, okay? But in order to do that, I need to refresh because he's keeping. So I'm going to refresh and go back to the same place. And by the way, let me collect the data for here also. So it will take us a little longer, but this is why I know I pull up the right title. It really is a piece of art, honestly. It's one of the most beautiful things I have done. See the data start pulling up. And as I got to here, now I go to here, we are still in, which year are we are? Did we do 2018 or 2020? My God, I hope I didn't get confused. It's okay, nothing happened. Yeah, we made a mistake. We were collecting in 2018. Yeah, I'm gonna remove them. It's unnecessary. Okay, so we'll redo them, okay? You never do that, okay? Because you might mess it up totally. But I allow myself to do that, okay?
Yes.
Let me go to the 2020. Let me refresh. Let me refresh again. I just noticed that the 218, we were working on the 218, and by mistake, we didn't notice that we should do the 2020. You will be expert on that, don't worry. Here we go. SEC. Let's go to the 2020. Let's go back to the income statement, balance sheets we did. It will be empty because I deleted everything. Revenue, marketing expenses we don't collect. You know, we really, usually they put those two together. Marketing sales and expenses. Since I said this is a bigger number, I would put the marketing, usually sales and marketing, I would put it here, but it really should be the sum of the two. I need to do something here so it will be able to allow me to combine several accounts, but that will be in the future. For now, it's not making a big difference for what we need. General and administrative, it's right there. Information technology, it's special depreciation, we do collect, we have depreciation. We don't have all of them, and that's okay. Total operating expenses. If you notice now, I changed the title, total operating expenses. You see that, Daniel?
Yes,
Because I changed it in the table of the accounts. That's a beautiful design. Okay, that will be just fine. Nobody cares what I write here. This is for me. That's what everybody will see when I compare companies in the future. Okay, operating income, that's EBIT. That's something you should know by heart. Interest expenses, other income we don't collect. Earning before income taxes, it's EBIT without an I. Income taxes. Then we have net income. See how clean it is? And you see how the list is shrinking? You go here, you refresh. Now you will see 2020. I will tell you in a minute why it was so important to have the 2020. In a minute, I will explain why it's so important, why I didn't leave the 218. Okay, let's go back here. Continue. What else do we have? Oh, net income applicable to common stock per basic common. That's called earning per share. And that's called basic. Earning per share, basic. That's why it means how much profit the company have made. They made that amount divided by the number of shares. That's the number. It's $84. That's called basic. One day I will teach you the difference between diluted and basic. Let's not do everything in one day. There's also always diluted. That's the second one. Just pay attention. No, this is the weighted. Sorry, that's not what I want. You can go and remove it. It will delete it if you do that. The next one, it says net income to common stock per diluted common. That will be per diluted earning per share. But this one is the weighted average stock. I will teach you one day that one. What does that mean? For now, just do it this way. Exactly as it said, just copy it the way it is. Sometimes they don't give you this information, but most of the big companies do. And for other future sessions, I will go over that one as well. The rest you can ignore. Okay, we finally left with the last one, consolidated cash flow. Cash flow, we don't really have much. The only one that I want you control F, see if you have dividend, D-I-V. I always search for it. And sometimes I'm lucky and I find the dividend. And I don't find the dividend is not there. They're not showing dividend. They might didn't distribute dividend. I think the company are losing money, isn't it? No, they are not losing money, but they didn't give any dividend. So it could be. So forget about it. There is something called capital expenditure, but I'm still thinking what to collect the data for. So I'm not collecting it for now. We're done. What we're gonna do now, next. I'm gonna keep this one empty. I might continue so I don't have to open it. I go to the next one. Refresh it. You know, I have two screens. I can use as many screens as I want. Click it, go to the S&P. I'm working on the first company, I'm clicking on it. So I'm putting the data now. And after it's putting the data, it's putting it on our computer. Daniel, you need to know that mechanism by heart. We'll go over it. Just looking at the data, it seems like there is missing data here. So let's see where is the data is missing in the income statement. Most likely, because you see there's a lot of missing data on the ratios. So the place to go is really here, XBRL data. The balance sheets we already have gone through, it was fine. And we can, what is the revenue? When we get to revenue, okay, here we go. You see revenue, we're getting the data up to this year. So we have the data up to 2018, but 2017, we're not really pulling the data. The data doesn't come out. Again, it's probably because they have changed the tag. And we already know that 2018, 17, they have made some changes. And you can tell even for sales and marketing, we might even check for 2019. That's always the big one, the revenue. Revenue is a very important number, much more than the sales and marketing. But we need to really check also on this one as well. So I'm going to back to the other screen. I'm going back to the operation. But this time, I'm going to go to 2017. It's beautiful. Go to financial statements, go to the operation. Let's see what happened. Hey, revenue doesn't show. See that? Where's revenue? Oh, there's no revenue at all. No, there is total revenue. So I'm going to click on it and choose revenue because they probably have changed. Okay, all the rest are look like appearing all of a sudden. Let me see. Let's go and see revenue 2017 in the database just for fun. See revenue? Let's see what is the tag he is using in 2017. This is the one he is using. Let's see if it's the same. Hopefully, if it's the same, it would be really interesting. Why it didn't show. And let's go down for 2020. Let's see revenue. There should be revenue for 2000. Here we go. Revenue 2020. Oh, let's see. This is what he's using 2020. Is that right? Amazing. One day, Danielle, I want you to be able to make a report. And you should be able. We will learn the library NumPy and we'll learn Panda. And with Panda, you can do a lot of beautiful stuff. Okay? And that's really the real stuff. Okay, but see, this is the reason it didn't show. They changed the tag. And that's why many companies, when they're collecting the data, they do it manually and they get a lot of errors. So anyway, that's very interesting. So that's why we built up all this mechanism to do it automatically for us. Otherwise, we'll waste hours on hours to collect this data. Anyway, revenue most likely will work. We want also to check about, I think we have to start the other session soon. So I'm almost done. I'll just pull the sales and marketing for 2019. So I'm going again to this one back. I have 2019. I can go back to here. And maybe they don't have it. And then the hell was it. Okay, I go back to here. And it doesn't like me for some reason. Why it doesn't? 2019, it should work. It does it sometimes, but let's see sales and marketing. That's why it has sales and other expenses, general and administrative, and brand marketing. Let's try check that one is marketing. Let's see, I don't have sales and marketing. It will pull up the rest now, I know that. So let's see if this is really different. It will be really interesting. Let's go back here, refresh. Let's go all the way up. Sales and marketing is using this one. Let's just try to brand marketing. Let's see how it does it for 2020. This is just for today. Next time, you're not going to do that, okay? General sales and marketing. Let's see the title. Totally different. Marketing expenses. That was the reason. Okay? Now, I think most of the stuff is fine, but I would usually do in this stage, refresh the screen and refresh and pull the data again, the whole things again from the S&P. SNS. Believe it's worked so fast, you have no idea how much work it does. If you had to do it manually, you will spend the rest of your life. Okay, here we go. Most of it looks beautiful now. Is that right? Looks like most of the data is out. See, you look down, you go back. Revenues, that's the one that we're looking for, revenue. See? Beautiful, isn't it? And we have sales and marketing. We can go and check also on this year. Probably they have made a second change in 2017. Okay? We'll do it some other time. We have to start the other session. But you got the idea, is that right? All the rest is perfect. We have all the data. Beautiful. This one, it's special stuff that we didn't have. So we don't have to worry about it. The only thing is really left, it's sales and marketing. Let's do that one very quickly. Maybe that's what that very quick. 2017. Got 2017. Go there. Operation. And sales and marketing. Do they have brand advertising? You see the change, the title all the time. And since it was a big number, I would put it in sales and marketing this time. I will use this one, put it in sales and marketing, and I'm going to put up the data again, and most likely I'm done. Brenda, is that clear?
Yes, doctor.
You think, guys, you can do it for tomorrow, each one of you on your company? It's okay if you make mistakes. I'll go over the whole thing, so don't worry about it. Is Jeremiah still with us? See, almost all the data is there. It's beautiful. That's not a trivial. It really is nice. Sales and marketing, anybody sees that? Here we go, we have all the data. Beautiful. This is gorgeous. The beauty here, if you notice, we only had to fix 2020, 2018 a little bit, 2017, and take my word for it, 2021 automatically will be filled up. Because the way I build up the mechanism, you will know the tag, and most likely they're not going to change. It's going to, and becomes to be more stable, which is really nice. Okay, guys?
Yes,
Yes.
doctor.
Okay.
Yes, doctor.
We have another session in another. We'll use the same Zoom, okay? I'm going to close it and already open it. And for the session, we always use the same one. I will send it anyway to the group so they will know how to hook up, to connect. We should start in about 10,
Actually,
okay?
Doctor, doctor.
two people
Yeah.
have joined already.
Ah,
And,
is it the same, the join for this one or a different link?
Same link.
same
Same
link.
link
Okay,
for their session.
we'll leave it open. The reason I wanted to close it so it will not have the same recording, or maybe I will stop the recording, okay? Okay, have a good one. I will see you in about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Danny, mute. Danny, please mute. Miriam, please mute.